Hey guys, and welcome back to another Ride the Track Map brought to you by the MotoX Collective. I'm TFC and this is round 14, Atlanta. So we start this track off with an absolute drag strip of a start straight, and this thing goes on forever. We hook a left and enter the first of 3 rhythm sections on this track. And this one has a couple of options, and it's also hard to tell from the track map if it's going to be a small roller or an actual single at the whole shot line. So we're under a bridge and back across the start straight. We have a gentle right-hander into a long Supercross triple, and from there we hit the first sand section, and this one is fast. Now at the farthest point of this end we come back into the second rhythm section, and this one's pretty one-lined. There's possibly a quad out, but I'm not fast enough to hit that. We have a whoop section that feels longer than the start straight, a nice double, and we are over the bridge and back across the start straight into the finish line. After this we have a small double and a 180. We're back onto the start straight again, and we're hooking right into the third and final rhythm section of the track. Now we're back across the start straight one last time, and we're into our second sand section. Both sand sections are tricky here. Now this one was laid out with singles, but I think this is what we're more likely to see. Then we have another Supercross triple, a big sweeping flat left-hander into another whoop section, and we're going to finish the lap off with 2 huge doubles. We're back into the first rhythm section again, and that is a lap of Atlanta. Now before we go any further, I'd like to thank Green Lennox and Udon for the bike and rider combo that I'm running this week. The Kawasaki Westeffex Encore paint by Green Lennox is sick and highly detailed, and I think this paint really does justice to the shape of the 22 KXF. As for the rider, I'm a big fan of Fox gear in general, and Udon continuously smashes out the retro gear. I installed this stuff and ran the monster kit for a while, but eventually found the camo just looked great with the Kawasaki. So thanks guys, head over to MXB Mods and check that work out, and I'll put a link to them down below in the description. So this week I also want to talk a little bit about the track creation process. I spent way too long on this one, and the main reason for that is because there was no overhead view of the track that I'd normally use for a texture. By the way, if any of you have any connections at Dirtworks, please hook me up. This and Daytona was an absolute time killer. I had to start fresh, and I started out by looking on the SX website as normal and realised the layout for this Atlanta was too familiar. A quick Google and I figured out it was the same as one of the 2021 rounds. I'm not sure which one, but it was a reverse version of the one I found on Google Images here, but the dates were also wrong. The only 2 references I could eventually find for the actual 22 layout were from a picture posted on RacerX, and luckily a basic overhead view on the ticket sales website. This was small and blurry, but generally enough for me to work from. So I started out with a Google Earth capture and built the texture up using cutout jumps and sections of track from other overhead track maps from the 2022 season. And I eventually built up my own texture to use as a base. Now this is really what took the time. The height map came together pretty quick, and the whole track worked pretty nicely. To be honest, I like this track. It's fast and open, and you got to check up a few times, as you saw me massively OJ the finish line jump on the intro. And although there aren't many line options in the rhythm, I think that's generally okay for a Daytona style track. I like the use of doubles rather than triples here, and I like the long sand sections. In fact, 2/3 of the track doesn't feel very Supercross at all. So it might be an interesting one. I think a safe bet might be a Tomac domination, but who knows. As for VR here, I couldn't do it justice. I just had too much of a break from VR, and I haven't been playing much during the week. So as you can see, I didn't last very long. I didn't have the time to spend trying to get perfect laps either, especially with all the extra time the track texture took. So that's about it. If you enjoyed this and you want to keep up with the series, then make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications below. Other than that, enjoy Atlanta. See you next time.